And we welcome now our Bloomberg television and radio audiences, because joining us now is Howard Lutnick, who is the chairman and CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald and BGC Group. Cantor Fitzgerald lost 658 employees in the 9/11 attack and another 61 people at an affiliate, Euro Brokers. Howard lost his brother, Gary, in the North Tower. Gary was only 36 years old. He also lost his best friend, Doug, at 39. This is a heavy day for you, Howard. 23 years later, how do you honor them today?
So today, all of our employees waive their day's pay, and we ask our clients to do as much business as they possibly can, and this is our charity day. So all around you, everywhere around me, are people donating every penny they make today to charities. We're going to raise about $12 million, and we're going to give it to 150 different charities around the world, because with these 5,000 people helping me, we're going to turn something horrible into something beautiful today.
I want to talk more about the legacy here, because one of Cantor's lawyers published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal overnight about how retirements at Cantor Fitzgerald are rare, given the firm had lost so many employees. And there are just so many employees now entering the workforce as well, Howard, who were not even born at the time of 9/11. How, in some ways, are you still building Cantor forward with that memory of 9/11 as such a big part of that Cantor story?
So, you know, these families are a part of us, and they stay a part of us. So we have a job offer out to all of the children of the people we lost. So just this week, we have a young lady joining us who worked for, who was born, basically her mother was pregnant right at 9/11, and now she's graduating college, and she's joining us. So we have about 36 children who work for us now, but we've had hundreds come, and it's been 23 years, so they move on with their careers. We train them, and we help them flourish in life. So these families are a part of us, and they are part of our DNA, and it's amazing and uplifting today. So at 4:30 today, we'll have a memorial, and we'll get together with all our families, and we'll read their names and put their pictures up. But we are together with these families, and the firm is together with them, and all these people. Remember, we raised $180 million to take care of the families, and the way we did that is our employees waived 25% of their compensation and gave it to these families. So you know who has the best employees? I have at BGC, GFI, and Cantor Fitzgerald. I have the best employees.
Well, it's certainly an important moment in history, in American history, for you and for Cantor personally, so we appreciate you being here. But of course, it's also a big moment for the country, in our political history as well. And of course, you're in Lower Manhattan, and you're recently surrounded by former presidents, the current president, and of course, some presidential hopefuls there. So Howard, I'll ask you, what did you make of the debate last night between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris?
Well, before, this morning I went to the memorial for the reading of the names, and it was the most respectful thing. You had Kamala Harris, you had President Joe Biden, then you had Mike Bloomberg in the middle, and then you had Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, all there showing tremendous respect to the events of September 11th. You've got to understand that we've got to take out terrorism, and we've got to take out jihad. It has to end. It's got to be important to these people, and I like that Donald Trump says he's going to return the hostages and take it to Hamas. I would like to hear Kamala Harris say the same thing. We've got to get the hostages out. We've got to crush Hamas, and we've got to crush jihad. We know jihad. We lost 658 people from Cantor. We lost 61 people from Euro Brokers. We've got to end jihad. Everyone in the United States knows it. Today's the day we remember it. It's got to end. We've got to end it on the earth.
I'll take then this opportunity to ask you, Howard, how you thought President Trump did in the debate last night. Of course, you have been named as one of the co-chairs of his transition team, were he to win. What did you think of his performance against Kamala Harris?
Well, look, I think Kamala Harris outperformed her expectations. I think she did a nice job. But Donald Trump, he hit every point. I mean, he hit every point. He stayed on immigration, which is unbelievable. I mean, why is the southern border open? He had it closed. Why on the first day did Joe Biden, with an executive order, open back up the border? I just don't understand why they would let all these people in, right? Inflation is huge and at an incredible high. So that first question, which is, are Americans better off? Kamala Harris told us a story about her upbringing because she didn't want to talk about the fact that prices for your groceries were up 50%, gas is up 100%. The Inflation Reduction Act was really the Inflation Explosion Act. And so I think there were a lot of points to make. You can't make them all. I think he made a lot of them. And this is an incredible race. It's important for America. And I thought the debate was really important. If they have another one, I think that will be really important, too. It'd be nice if the moderators didn't get involved in the debate and make comments only against Donald Trump. That would have been better. But look, you can't help it. It is what it is. But I think it's great when they talk. I wish Kamala Harris would give press conferences and answer questions and show the country who she is. That would be really helpful and really important for the country.
Howard, you came out of the debate yesterday and you had betting markets swing very much in Kamala Harris's favor. And then on the other hand, you had Trump say that he's not inclined to head into another debate with Harris. Now, you, of course, are very close to Trump, have been a very prominent fundraiser. Do you think he should be leaning into a round two for a debate?
Well, the thing about Donald Trump is he knows his debate. If you think about me, I have maybe 100,000 followers, and he has 100 million followers. So I think I go with what he thinks. But look, I thought it's important for people to hear what she has to say, so to hear her out and to have her be out there and stop hiding in the basement and sort of get out there and talk. I think Donald Trump's got a lot to say. He's got a big plan. He's got a program, and he's got his record of 3% growth. 3% GDP growth, 3% wage growth, and under 2% inflation. So, I mean, he had a great record as president. But as I said, I'd like to hear her give press conferences. I'd like to hear her just answer questions in an open forum. How can you run and be president of the United States without answering questions in an open forum? It just doesn't make sense to me. But I think it's an amazing race. I think we have now, it's exciting. And we all watched the debate last night. We all have our opinions. But obviously, I love when Donald Trump debates. I'd be happy if he did it again, but he knows better and he understands, and, I'm on his side.
Howard, because you've been on his side, especially as a prominent donor as well, what does fundraising look like from here? It's really interesting to see the way that both corporate America and Wall Street has been shaping up against these two candidates. You have the Walton family members throwing a fundraiser for Harris in the near future. How do you counter that?
Well, I think, look, Donald Trump is fundraising. Kamala Harris is fundraising. I think, the television airwaves are going to be incredibly crowded with advertising from both sides. And I think I don't think Donald Trump is having any trouble raising money. I don't think Kamala Harris is having any trouble raising money. So we can look forward to an enormous season of ads on television. But I think it's important to hear what the candidates have to say. The more they speak in their own voice, the better it is for America. As I said, Donald Trump is fearless. He went on ABC, which obviously was going to be against him because he's a fearless leader. I would like to see Kamala Harris show fearless, strength and backbone and get out there and talk. I think if she got out there and talked, I think it would be great for America to hear her talk. How do you run for president and not get out there and talk? So I think the world should encourage her to get out there and talk, because I know Donald Trump is willing to take all takers, answer all questions, and get out there. And I think that's just basic.
And Howard, I'd like to talk about you a little bit, actually, and your role in, of course, the campaign, because last month you were named as co-chair of Donald Trump's transition team, should he win a second term, co-chair alongside Linda McMahon. How is that going? What are you focusing on right now?
Well, sort of the way transition works is if he doesn't win, then, it's not much. So what the campaign is focused on is winning, and I'll be focused on helping make sure that if he wins, there's an extraordinary administration around him. The scale of people who want to serve and are willing to serve far, far exceeds anything from 2016 and 2020, because now it's just a political race. That's all it is. Some people, more and more people come up to me and say they're supporting Donald Trump than ever before in my life. So I think the answer is you're going to see, if Donald Trump is elected, you're going to see the greatest group of administration and the greatest group of leaders enter this government. And I'm just helping him every way I can. But the key is he's got to win.
Yeah.
Transition isn't interesting unless he wins.
Totally get that's step one, of course, win. But are you talking to potential members of cabinet, for example? And if you want to name any names, we're all ears.
No, I'm not look, of course I'm talking to everybody. Of course we're going to do vetting. I mean, that is the job of running transition, is really to build a mosaic of incredible and capable leaders, both who've served in the government before and who hope to serve this time, and really set that all up so when he's won, then he can come in and take a look and build a great government. My job is to build a mosaic, and then he will be, of course, the commander-in-chief, and the chief is, let's design and build the government that is the strongest it possibly can. I think it's incredible that I get to play this role for him. It is the most exciting and most fun. I mean, I'm having a great time of it because I'm just helping him in a deep, respectful way, and it's going to be an amazing administration, but he's got to win first.
Are you worried, Howard, that if he loses, it'll be, as he's said on social media, a bloodbath? I mean, he said yesterday he had nothing to do with January 6th, but he clearly was encouraging all of his supporters to come and then go to the Capitol. His praise for Viktor Orban, his love of these big political rallies. Doesn't it concern you that
you gotta stop? You gotta stop. This
does it not concern you?
You know, he said there'll be a bloodbath in the auto industry if they keep the NAFTA deal working and they let China build cars in Mexico and import them. You know that's what he said. So this concept, and the other concept that really made me unhappy was when Kamala Harris said that January 6th was the worst thing that happened to the country since the Civil War. See, today is 9/11.
I think the worst attack on the Capitol is what she said.
Was different.
The worst attack on the Capitol.
Well, how about the Pentagon? The Pentagon was a worse attack on the Capitol. So, I mean, come on. Stop the rhetoric of the nonsense, okay? In the debate, they could do that stuff. That's rhetoric and nonsense. When you have me on 9/11, let's just stay focused on 9/11, the events what happened 23 years ago, the attack on America. We've got to get rid of jihad. We all agree we've got to get rid of jihad, right? I'm worried about all these people coming into this country because I'm afraid terrorists have come into this country and they're going to do it to us again. And I never want any family to have to live through what I've lived through. I lost my brother Gary 23 years ago. He was 36. My best friend Doug. And if you could imagine, you look behind me at this trading floor, imagine them all being killed, because that's what happened 23 years ago. It'll crush your heart. It'll crush your soul. And to me, that's the most important thing about today. The most important thing about today is remembering these people, caring for their families, and making sure America stays strong and crushes terrorism around the world so no family has to have to go through what we're going through.
Howard, before we let you go here, you have pointed to an active trading desk very full of people. You've talked earlier in this interview about how you've been hiring more, you have been building. There's another moment coming up for you that I know that you are very much looking forward to. That is the launch of your new futures exchange with the backing from a lot of Wall Street giants. How is that going? What can you expect from day one? And are you concerned at all around any of the regulatory environment around it, given some of the clearing questions around London?
Okay, so Sonali, because I'm on your show, I'm going to tell you we are going to open our futures exchange on September 23rd. So the announcement of that was right here, right now, on your show. So we're opening our futures exchange, FMX, on September 23rd. And we are backed by the 10 largest trading firms in the world. It starts with JP Morgan and Citibank and Bank of America and Barclays and Wells and Goldman Sachs and and Morgan Stanley, and then Citadel, you all know, and then Jump and Tower, two firms you may not know, but they are the largest futures traders in the world. We're going to do rates futures, which is interest rate swap futures, which are called SOFR futures, and U.S. Treasury futures. We're going to start with SOFR futures, and that's going to start on September 23rd. And then in the first quarter of 2025, we're going to roll out Treasury futures, and we are going to create a break in the monopoly built by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And it is so fun and so exciting. And you are right. I am completely jazzed about FMX. So FMX is owned by this company, BGC, which is the largest wholesale financial service company in the world. So we broker everything in the world that doesn't trade on an exchange. And on September 23rd, we open our fully approved CFTC Futures Exchange, backed by the 10 greatest trading firms in the world. And I think we're going to bring competition to the market. And I am jazzed.
All right, you heard it here first. September 23rd, of course, FMX opens for business. Howard, we look forward to that launch, and we really appreciate your time today, of course. That is Howard Lutnick, Chairman and CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald and the BGC Group.